Now, in a few hours' time, the European Court of Human Rights will decide whether 6 terrorism suspects being held right here in the UK can be extradited to the US to face trial there. They include the radical cleric Abu Hamza, Babar Ahmad, who's accused of raising money for terrorist groups, and 2 men allegedly involved in US embassy bombings in Kenya and Tanzania back in 1998. The men argue they could be ill-treated and stand little chance of ever being released if convicted. Joining us now is Dr. Amna Ahmad, who is Babar Ahmad's sister. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
How are you and your family feeling this morning?
We are naturally very anxious at the moment. There's just under a couple of hours left until the ruling comes through, so we are anxious at the moment, yes.
Now, your brother has already won, I think, a stay on his extradition process at the European Court back in June 2007. Yeah. Have you any idea what the new arguments might be to get him extradited?
Well, at the moment, we're waiting on the European Court of Human Rights ruling to decide the next step. But our main concern at the moment is that there should really have been a public inquiry into his issue. He has been accused of crimes that could have been prosecuted in the United Kingdom. And what actually happened in his investigation is that the evidence was handed over to the United States. The CPS confirmed this in writing in November 2011, but they were never actually shown all the evidence in relation to his case. So what the question really is, that why is our government outsourcing cases that it can prosecute in Britain to the United States? And this has happened in Babar's case, and there's been a serious abusive process which we are calling a public inquiry for.
By the same token, though, I think the argument in the past has been that the battle against global terrorism is a global battle, and actually it would make sense if one country feels in the fight against global terrorism they have better evidence and they have the means to actually pursue and investigate the case, they should handle it.
Well, the issue in Babar's case is that the evidence was collected in the United Kingdom. So why was it not allowed to be examined by the Crown Prosecution Service? Why was it outsourced to the United States? We have a sound justice system in the United Kingdom. It's centuries old, very, very adequate. And, you know, these are serious allegations that have been put against Babar Ahmad. So why have they not been analysed by the Crown Prosecution in this country?
Well, as I understand it, it's also because the allegation against your brother, who of course is innocent until proven guilty, but the allegation is that the fundraising that was done throughout the world to fund extremist activity in Afghanistan and Chechnya was through a website operated from South London, but technically based in the US. So it's a US-based crime.
But still, again, the evidence was collected from the United Kingdom, and it was bypassed to the United States.
Because the website was based there.
But why was there not a chance given to the Crown Prosecution Service to look at it first? Why were our prosecuting authorities not shown all of that evidence first? Is the United Kingdom subservient to the United States? Why do we need to subcontract issues that we can prosecute in the United Kingdom off to the United States? It's a matter of sovereignty.
And what is the concern, though? You make it sound quite legal and about the process. Do you have a concern, then, about the nature of justice your brother might face in the States compared to justice here? We are both, after all, democracies.
Well, the first issue that we have, like I mentioned before, is a matter of principle, that he should be put on trial where he's from. He's paid his taxes. We're a professional family. We've all worked
hard. If the crime is committed abroad, as the allegation is, if the crime network is based abroad, that is where the offence took place, in the eyes of the law.
Well, in essence, I mean, we are not against extradition as a principle. If somebody commits a crime in a country and flees that country, yes, they should be extradited back to that country to face trial. Babar is not a fugitive.
No, but the world has changed, though. I mean, this is a crime in cyberspace, is the allegation, and where it's based. I mean, we're not going to agree on this quite clearly. I mean, I'm only pointing it out. Let me ask, how is your brother? What's his mental state like at the moment?
I mean, he's obviously. I mean, we're all anxious, but we have a lot of questions and a lot of frustration as to why the British government has been outsourcing their cases to the United States.
I think I've tried to explain what their point of view is. It's not for me to argue on their behalf, but that is their point of view. So, what would you say to that? That actually the website, and some might say, if you're unpicking this, there's a reason to do this, to muddy the waters, to operate from South London but have it based abroad. There must be somewhere, some decision must be made about where that trial is. It may not suit you and your family to have it in the States, but that's been the ruling.
I mean, the issue is not just particular to Babar. Gary McKinnon, Richard O'Dwyer, Chris Tappin, the same issue applies to all of them.
Well, no, not really, because they're not accused of terrorism offences, are they?
But Chris Tappin is in solitary confinement for 23 hours a day with the lights on in pre-trial detention conditions.
So that's your concern about your brother then, and the other people involved in this, the treatment they'll receive.
Absolutely.
So it's nothing at all to do then with jurisprudence or where the crime was committed or him not being a fugitive. It's about the treatment.
Yeah. It is not. That is a concern, but the biggest concern is what has gone wrong in Babar's case. Why was the evidence handed over to the United States? Why was the Crown prosecution denied the opportunity to look at it properly? They have admitted in November 2011 that they never looked at all of the evidence that was collected in Operation Quarrier in December 2003, which was a live police investigation. Officers from the SO13 handed over evidence to the United States. There's been an abusive process here. They were legally bound to first show it to the Crown Prosecution Service.
OK, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Dr Amna Ahmed there, Babar Ahmed's sister, one of 6 people who learned today whether the European Court of Human Rights will allow them to be extradited to the United States to face charges. It's 7:12.